Our Lord is so good. Every word he speaks, I know this is almost silly of me to say, but it's just so filled with wisdom that we could sit and rest in it and contemplate its full impact, seemingly forever. So, for example, earlier in the week, I talked about being sent out, right? And evangelization is a theme that I touch upon often because I think we regularly assume it's somebody else's job. And so I'm gradually trying to muster up your awareness that it's actually your mission and motivate you to be excited about that. And today, the conversation that Jesus is having, the Last Supper, just think of the context. Up until now, the disciples have been just that, disciples. They've been following. They don't have to pay attention to where the road is going. They don't have to look in the mirrors and check the speedometers and make sure that everything's going according to plan. They don't have to route anything. It's all they have to do is just whatever Jesus says in that moment. Just come with me. And that has been enough for them. But see, our Lord is about to ascend to his Father. They're about to become leaders, founders really, of the Israel that our Lord is establishing. They're going to have to be judges of the needs of the church and the time. They're going to have to make decisions. They're going to have to go out and reveal the Father to the world. In other words, they're going to have to be Christ to other people. And so, with hours remaining before this transpires, he's giving them foundational feedback. I say foundational because I mean their entire identity and their pillars of ministry are founded on the insights he's sharing with them now. So what he says to them today is, and this is for us to hear now, no servant is greater than his master. No messenger is greater than the one who sent him. Now, why does that matter? Because it means the message they carry, the gospel, and the task that is set out before them, the mission, is not theirs to change. The messenger is not greater than the one who gave you the message. The servant is not greater than the master. So if these are the things that I've said, these are the things that I've taught, these are the things that I'm asking you to do, you cannot change them because it doesn't match your preference or you have a different opinion about it. And this might sound somewhat trivial, but it's not. Because had we lived that, there wouldn't be 40,000 denominations of Christianity for people who are only discovering Christ having to filter through to figure out where the one church that Jesus founded is. We're not good at keeping that first part. And so, as Catholics, we really have to do self-assessment about that. Because even those who stay in the Catholic Church, which is the church that Jesus Christ founded, we have different opinions. And we give other people advice based on that. I can't tell you how many times as a priest I've encountered those things. I know one of my closest friends, his father, this is a classmate of mine actually, 2 weeks before we were ordained, or a few weeks before we were ordained, his father came home and said to his mother right in her face, "I don't love you anymore, I'm out." And she was stunned because she didn't perceive any marital problems between them. He had been having an affair, of course. So here she goes back to her Christian community, her Catholic church, her parish, her friends, where her sense of belonging is in. All of her friends were saying, "Go get yourself another husband." Not one person challenged her to carry her cross as a faithful spouse, to discern what it is that God was asking of her in this moment, what her responsibility to this man who had been unfaithful to her was. What does it mean to be a disciple in this context? Every single one of her Catholic friends just rewrote the gospel to make it easy, as if they were greater than their master. We have to be very careful not to do that. But then he also encourages them at the end of today's passage. He says, listen, whoever receives you receives me, and whoever receives me receives the one who sent me. Now, if you remember earlier in the week at one of the Masses, we looked at the confidence that Christ has, who goes out into a world that's going to reject the gospel that he's preaching, and how he's able to do it with courage because he doesn't rely on other people's opinions of him. His power comes from the fact that he is rooted in the Father, that the Father is the one who has sent him, and that the Father is pleased with what he is doing. And so what Jesus is saying to the apostles, who are also going to be rejected, whom he's now saying, and in the space of rejection, don't change the message, also understand that I am sending you in the same way that the Father sent me. So the same source of my courage should be your courage. And that you should have peace. And that when they accept you or they reject you, really, it's not about you, so don't worry. They're accepting or they're rejecting me. And when they accept or they reject me, they're really accepting or rejecting the Father, whose face you become into the world. So don't misinform them about who the Father is by changing the message. But also, don't take it personally whether they accept or reject you, because it's really not about you. It's about their relationship with the Father, and you get to be a missionary that awakens them to it.